Seledumare, Eke Osana. Okay, I think I look better this way. Eke Osana. This is a special tribute to Pastor Mrs. Adeboye. I'm going to be talking about the Mommy Gio. Many don't know. Get ready. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you. Eku àṣeyẹ, ẹ̀mí aṣọpọ̀ ẹ̀. Eku àṣeyẹ, ẹ̀mí aṣọpọ̀ ẹ̀. Yeah. To you, Mommy Gio, happy birthday to you. Bless you, may the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you, Mommy. May the good Lord bless you. To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mommy Folu. Happy birthday to you. Okay. So let me rest Obey Commander a little bit. And good morning, everyone, wherever you're listening to me from. I had to do a spontaneous one, and I decided to do this, to honor Mommy Gio on a birthday. I know, what has been happening in the last 48 hours is troubling. And you see, one thing we must learn to begin to do in our generation is that if we don't put our voice out there, error will fly, error will thrive. A bastard is one who they abuse your parents in your presence, and you keep quiet and you allow error thrive. Now, let me tell you about Mommy Gio, the Mommy Gio that you don't know, because a lot of people seem to have been taken aback. The fact that Daddy Gio talked about the fact that Mommy serves him all the time, and that if he has to go somewhere, she has to go, with him. Now, a lot of people talking, one, do not understand marriage, right? They do not understand that marriage is a nation, that the most important nation on earth is your family, because your family is the production factory of the society. Now, in the family, you have the president, then you have the vice president. Now, the way it's been structured, we know that the husband is the head of state and the wife is the vice president, right? And you know that the role of the head of state is not to lord things over the vice president. Basically, the role of the head of state is to create an enabling environment where the potential of everyone can find expression. And a good head of state is the one who allows the potential of everyone in his domain to thrive. And I think that the Gio has demonstrated that perfectly in his marriage. If you know the relationship between the two of them, you will understand how powerful Mommy Gio is. But you see, the testament of power is not in what you use power to, is what actually you use power to do. That if you have power and you are not meek, because meekness is power under control, which means what I can do by my power, I refuse to do it in my wisdom. Meekness is I have power. I can kill you, but I refuse to kill you because I know better. Now, if you don't have power and you say you are meek, you are not meek, you are weak, which is why people who have never been married before, people who have never attained any height in the society, people who have never had to lead 1 million people. When they talk, they're talking from a position of weakness, not meekness. Because many of them, if you check what their house helps, what their workers under them are saying about them, some of them are terrible leaders and they're the worst of all leaders, right? But let's leave that aside. Now, I have been relating with Mommy Joe for some time and I've traveled quite a number of times with her. But let me tell you the one that shocked me the most. For you to understand that what Daddy Joe was saying is not just because she wants to, his wife wants to please him. That is the way she lives, right? Mommy Joe had invited me to the Congress last year to come and speak. So I was supposed to do 2 sessions, one with the teenagers and one with all the women in Redeem, right? And that will be like the 4th, 5th time I'll be doing that with her in Nigeria, right? Now, Mommy Joe, just called me out of the blues. I mean, we've not spoken for like 4 years. And I was doing a recording there. She called me and says, Praise, I want you to come to camp during the Congress. I want you to talk to the teenagers and I want to talk to, the women. Because apparently there was a video we both did. I mean, there was a video I did for her where I spoke at the Feast of Esther, which went viral last year. I mean, I was getting calls from different countries on parenting. Now, so I had locked down that date in my calendar and I was expecting a letter from camp. So when the letter came, it was only a letter for the women's meeting. The letter for the teens meeting did not come. So I just assumed that maybe there was a change of schedule and that they've gotten someone else to talk to the teenagers and that, I was supposed to just address the women. The women was supposed to be a Saturday. The teenagers was a Thursday. So I was not prepared for the teenagers at all because I didn't get the letter. But even the mommy had called me herself to say I should pen the 2 dates down for her. Now, Thursday, I didn't plan to go anywhere. I was in my house recording Family STEM Engineering Certification Program, which is now online. And that's a premier family certification program, that practitioners take across Africa and in different countries of the world. Now, it was about 11 o'clock. Then I got a call. It was from Mommy, and she said, Praise, where are you? I didn't understand what she meant by Praise, where are you? I was like, Mommy, what? Where am I? How? I didn't get a letter. And she said, Daddy and I are waiting for you. And I was like, wait a minute. So I called my driver, called my executive assistant. I said, what? We have to head to camp immediately. So we got in on our way to camp. And that was the time that road was terrible, right? So she said to me, Praise, we'll wait for you. So I was in the dark traffic for about 1.5 hours thereabout, and camp from my house is about, on a normal day with a good driver driving, it should be about 15-20 minutes. I live in Ojodubega, for crying out loud. So it was just not too far away from me. I was in the traffic and she kept monitoring me. Now, by the time I was very close to the camp, I heard that someone called me and said, Praise, Mommy is coming to take you out of traffic. So by the time I said, no, it wasn't needed, but I just kept driving. By the time I will hit the gate of the youth center, Mommy was driving out to come and take me out of traffic with her escort. Now, people were shocked because people were asking me, Praise, what did you do for Mommy for you to deserve this kind of honor? Honestly, she's like a grandmother to me. I wasn't expecting that because there are so many people who have not gotten close to where she is, who will never do that. And this is me, who has been on almost every top platform in this country. I have worked with many of the first ladies. I've worked with many of the top leaders. So I know. I've worked with many of the so-called new movement leaders, right? So I know the difference basically, right? I know the person who truly cares about you. As I got into camp, she came down from my car, right? The people were following her. And if you know how busy Congress is, she should never have that time. It would have been okay for me to just go and not even see her at all. That would have been good enough, right? But she abandoned everything she was doing. As she looked at me, I just prostrated to greet her, which is the way I normally do. And I greeted her and I said, Grandma. She calls me Skonto and Konko. That's the name she calls me. And she says, Skonto and Konko, wow, you look very tired. Obviously, I've been having sleepless night for 3 days recording, right? So I was tired. But the awareness to notice that I was tired was it was mind-blowing. So she said to me, Praise, the way you are tired right now, I think you should sleep first. Then we can do this session later. So she took me to, the youth office, and she just took me around. Then she said, Praise, I've told people to prepare somewhere for you where you can rest, which was beside her house. It was a chalet. Guess what? Mommy Jill left me and she said, "Oh, Praise, let me go and check." When she got, so I said, "Mommy, I will drive behind you." So I drove behind her and we got to the chalet. Behold, when we got to the chalet, the instruction she gave for the chalet to be cleaned had not been done. The next thing I saw, I just put my head down in my car. By the time I looked up, Mommy Gio had a mop on her hand, right? And she had a packer ready to mop where I was going to sleep, right? She was the one that invited me. It was a honor because there are so many people who long to speak on Redeem platform who have never, right? But here was I coming back after about 4 years of absence, and Mommy Joe was ready to mop the floor for me. That's the wife to the general overseer of Redeem. So when Daddy Joe talks about, "Oh, my wife serves me," right? That's a way of life, right? But I'll come back to that. So I had to get down. Nike got down. Shola got down. I mean, these are pastors in Redeem, and they were my friends that went with me. My EA was there, and we all got down to say, "Mommy, let us help." He said, No, don't worry. I want more. I don't know why they have not cleaned this place for you. Don't they know that Praise is my son and is coming? So we joined her, and then, we just said, "Mommy, don't worry." And so Nike joined, and Shola joined, and, Pastor Shola joined, and we started, they cleaned up. And, so she said, "Praise, just take your time." And, and she went to look for food for me. Right? And she said, "I Praise, shake in WhatsApp where, and I said, "No, Mommy, we're okay. We have people here who can do that." Now, that is the Mrs. Folu, Pastor Mrs. Folu Adeboye, that many of you opening your mouth on social media do not know. Now, the question is, at your level that you are, who have you served? What have you done for humanity? Right? Because what I see here is that many of us are respecters of men. We don't have respect. Because when you have respect, you will treat people equally no matter who they are. I was I wasn't even a pastor in Redeem. I wasn't, I was just a regular guy doing my thing when she found me out and she invited me. But you see, I have never seen that level of honor in my life. And this is Praise that is well traveled, right? I have spoken at different platforms across the globe. I had never seen that before, right? She stood with me, she talked to me, and when she now saw my ear and said, "Is this your wife?" No, I said, "No." I said, "My wife is doing a program, in a university." So she called me and said, "Praise, now that your wife is not around, don't let people know that she's not around, though. You need to preserve yourself." That's a mother who is well concerned, right? Anytime I had to see Mommy Gio, she will pave way for me, right? And in fact, sometimes when I go and I want to need to say, "Praise, me, skonto and konko, let us talk." And that's the testament of that woman. She is accessible. We have people who are local government chairman's wife who we can't access. We have ministers in this country that nobody can access. She's very accessible, right? We have people who don't even have more than 3 staffs, yet they can't serve anybody. But that was a woman at the highest level serving a small boy like me, right? Now, I went ahead to speak. By Saturday, I was back again. It was exactly the same treatment. Mommy really, she noticed I was really stressed. And she kept telling me, "Praise, just rest. Which meant, will you sleep past the night in camp?" I said, "Praise, you can sleep there as long as you like. We'll take care of you," and blah, 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 blah. Now, for those of you who hide behind Twitter, to these old people, to these people who have served, right? Whose interest do you really serve? Now, that the GO was greeting his wife and was praising, eulogizing his wife. I have my parents. My dad is late. My father and my mother were married for over 30-something years, right? Before my father passed on, maybe over 40 years, right? Before my father passed on, right? I know that every day my mother served my father. Now, one thing the younger generation need to understand is the power of dispensation. There is what romance in the 1950s is not romance now. Romance in their age and time has what they call alarino. If you are a Yoruba person, then you need to understand. If you're not from the Yoruba culture and you don't understand the cultural aspect of marriage, can you just keep your mouth and learn instead of just opening your mouth about what doesn't concern you, right? In their generation, that's what worked. It was okay for women to serve their husbands every day. And it's still okay even now if that is what makes your marriage work. Now, to open your mouth to fight what has worked for over 50 years when you have not been married for 2 years or you have not even sustained the relationship, I think there's a problem somewhere. and it's a function of low self-esteem, hurt, bitterness out there that is masquerading in the fight for supremacy or fight for liberation. Let me tell you, it's not a man's world, it's not a woman's world, it's our world. And it's high time we collaborated to make this world work, or else we're going to create a bigger problem the way we're going, right? So a man was celebrating his wife's birthday, and he talked about how his wife will abandon everything to follow him to wherever he wants to go, which is a testament to the structure within their family, right? And says, oh, my wife, with everything she has attained, she still serves me every day, which is what has worked for them, which is what worked for your father, for your great-grandfather, for those of you whose parents married work. This was what worked for them. So how is that one our problem? How is that your business? Now, in our age and time, see, I'm wearing my wife's shirt, and I wore it intentionally, right? If what works in my own marriage is for my wife to serve me, and she loves to do it, and she's not complaining, how is that a problem to anybody? Right? What works in my marriage is that anybody can cook. That's what works for us. And we will never talk down any other person if that is what works for them. The reality in our age is different from the reality in their age. In their age, they don't talk about blowjob. They don't talk about many of the things we talk about right now. And it worked perfectly for them. To be trying to fix what is not broken, to be trying to criticize what is not problematic. You have never heard the two of them complain about their marriage. To be trying to poke your nose and be bringing your version of maybe feminism or whatever you call it into their affairs, I think is another low, right? Can we mind our business? We are dealing with a generation that loves to criticize everyone, but they hate being criticized. We are dealing with a generation that tries to correct everyone, but they can't be corrected. Can we simmer down and even focus on our lives and ask ourselves, can we stay in marriage for as long as these people have stayed in marriage and they are still happy, right? That someone at a level can still serve our husband, right? It's a testament to, the values that govern their home and what works for them. The woman has not complained that my husband is beating me, that my husband is using me as a slave. What if she loves to do it? She has done it for me, and I'm not her husband. I'm like a grandchild to her. She has done it for me. So if she has done it for her husband, how is that a big deal? I think people don't find to know people before they open their mouth to talk against them. Now, after a while, now who are you defending? Are you defending the interest of Mommy Gio? Did she say anything is wrong with her? Right? This is how we create crisis in people's home, and we create what doesn't exist. Please, guys, can we calm down? Someone is celebrating, 72 years. And we need to celebrate her. If our husband is saying this is what my wife has done, you say you approach every information from a standpoint of curiosity to say, what did they do to keep their marriage working? When we're going to create family system engineering certification program, one of the things we did was to go and sit with 40 couples whose marriages have gone beyond 40 years to try to understand what they did to make their marriage work. This is the era in which people get married and in 6 months they are out due to irreconcilable difference, which is what has now been known as immaturity, right? People just run out every little thing. They've joined a group that says to them, if your husband talks anyhow, get out. So you are getting out, you are creating a bigger problem for our world. The child is the victim of what you are propagating. How does that help humanity? I'm not saying there are men who are bad, there are men who are good, and none of us is absolutely bad, none of us is absolutely good. So we need to focus on the part of us that is honorable, that is desirable. If a man has kept a marriage with a woman for over 50 years, I want to know what that man knows. I want to know what has worked for them. I want to know what the woman knows. I want to know what has helped them keep their marriage. Some of us are struggling with 2 years of marriage, 1 year, 6 months of marriage. Some no marriage. You have done all kinds of relationship that has not worked. We are not even blaming you that you are 40, you don't have a husband or you don't have a wife. Nobody's blaming you. It's your life. But can you allow others who have sustained a marriage, can you allow them leave? Right? Because this culture of talking down on people, listen, you can disagree with people without being insulting. And I think parents need to now be very, very careful and open-minded to know that there's a bigger crisis. The children who go on social media to talk down people, they are the report card of our parenting. And we need to quickly find a way to heal this generation, or else they're going to create a crisis that we can't handle. So guys, I think we have a lot to learn from Mommy and Daddy Adeboye. I'm not saying that you should now go and slap their model on your marriage, but can you find what works for you, stick to what works for you, and defend what works for you? They can only talk about what has worked for them, not what works for you. Your relationship is not their relationship, and no two marriages are the same. Every marriage is a book. No two books are the same, right? Your chapter 1 maybe someone else's chapter 4, right? Even if your titles are the same, the content of the books are not the same. We are dealing with a generation that is way before Generation X. We have had Generation X, Y, now Generation Z, and Generation AA is loading. So dispensations has different values, different templates, and if it has worked for them, let us praise them for keeping a marriage for over 50 years in the era where people can't keep a marriage for one day. Guys, it is time to celebrate what has worked. No matter what they have done to make it work, it's working and they are not complaining. Let us learn to celebrate. Let us do a toast to Daddy and Mommy Adeboye for leading us with their lives when it comes to their marriage and showing us that marriage still works and that two people can be in their relationships and be happy. Be it the follow traditional role or the new role, whichever one, let us celebrate them. And on this note, I'm going to say, on behalf of my generation, we say happy birthday to Mommy Adeboye and toast to a happy married life to Daddy and Mommy Adeboye. And I'm going to play Obey Commander. I'm not going to play Two-Face or anybody from my generation. This is the music you dance to in your generation. And let us join them to dance to Obey Commander. Okay, let's go and do it. And let's appreciate them for doing a job. For a job well done. And Mommy, thank you so much for who you are to us. I really celebrate you. I'm a beneficiary of your magnanimity and your humility. And I will always praise you for what I learned from you in those moments where you got out from your car to come and meet me and you pick up a mop to actually mop the floor of where I was going to sleep. Thank you so much for showing us true humility, true leadership, and true dedication. Happy birthday to you once again. Have a fantastic day. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Hey, Akomole, guys. Prosperity. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Let's go celebrate these people on all social media and tell them we appreciate, we value them, right? Our generation, we will do better. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. Sele Dumare, Eke Osana.